We often dismiss that yucky feeling, right? We tell ourselves and our kids to just ignore it. But what if that feeling of disgust was actually a hidden superpower? Today, we're going to dive into a really cool children's book that argues it is, and it teaches emotional intelligence in a way that's surprisingly deep. I mean, think about it. We're pretty much taught to avoid disgust, to just turn away from whatever feels unpleasant. But what if that yuck feeling isn't a weakness at all, but a real strength? What if it's an internal alarm system that we should probably be paying a lot more attention to? Well, this absolutely charming book for kids, Muffin and the Mystery of the Yucky Puddle, explores that exact idea. It's part of a whole series on emotional intelligence, and its message is just so simple and powerful. So let's break it down. Okay, first up, the Yucky Puddle Mystery. The story kicks off by setting a scene that just pulls you right in, whether you're a kid or, just a kid at heart. So picture this. Our story opens in this perfect, almost magical world. The main character is this cloud cat named Muffin, and she lives in a forest that's so clean, the book says it literally smells like joy. This is our baseline, right? This is what's good and healthy and safe. So Muffin and her friends, you got a rabbit, a squirrel, a hedgehog, they're all setting up for the best celebration ever. Everything's happy, it's peaceful, and they're all just excited for the party. And then, bam, the problem shows up. Out of nowhere, this gross, stinking, yucky puddle just materializes right in the middle of their perfect meadow. It's a total mystery, it's disgusting, and it completely ruins the party vibe. And if a random, smelly puddle wasn't bad enough, a frightening shadow monster actually crawls out of it. It's basically the physical form of that yucky feeling, and of course the animals are totally terrified and just want to run for the hills. But this is where the story takes a turn. This isn't just a simple monster story. Nope. It's about to become a really profound lesson on the real purpose of our emotions. The book actually pauses here to give us this really clear, simple definition. Disgust isn't some random bad feeling. It's a specific message. It's your body telling you, hey, hold on, pay attention. Something here might be unsafe. And here's the big reveal. A wise bluebird shows up and explains that the shadow monster isn't really an enemy. It's just a physical shape given to their own feeling of disgust. The feeling itself isn't the problem. It's a protector. So the bluebird's wisdom is pretty simple. Disgust is a good thing. It's basically an evolutionary tool that keeps us from eating rotten food or getting into dangerous situations. The trick isn't to ignore it, but to actually listen and try to understand why you're feeling it. And to make sure this lesson really sinks in, the book does something so clever. It doesn't just tell kids what disgust is, it invites them to practice identifying it with a little interactive game. The game's called On Guard for Cleanliness, and the rules are super simple. Sort the yucky, possibly harmful stuff into the trash, and put the safe, clean stuff into a basket. It's a really hands-on way to learn. And here's what the game looks like. The kid reading has to actually point out things like rotting food or poop as yuck, and things like toys and books as okay. It makes the abstract idea of disgust feel really concrete, and honestly, it empowers the child to act on that feeling. So, armed with this new understanding, the characters are totally empowered. Now they can stop being victims of the monster and actually become the heroes of their own story. Instead of running away from the yucky feeling, Muffin decides to investigate. She pushes past her fear, and what does she find? Not a magical curse, but a big pile of rotting trash they had left behind. And this is a huge moment of accountability. Muffin realizes the monster wasn't some outside evil force. It was the direct result of their own actions. It was the mess they made. Once they figure that out, the solution becomes crystal clear. They just have to take action. They start cleaning up their mess, and as they do, that big, scary shadow monster, that physical form of disgust, it just starts to fade away. And just like that, with the trash gone, the puddle vanishes, the monster is defeated, and the forest is beautiful and clean again. The air is fresh, the sun is shining, and they can finally have their party. The book even says the food tastes better. So what's the big takeaway from all this? The book wraps up with a really powerful message about why this yucky feeling actually matters so much. The book's final core idea is simple and unforgettable. Disgust is not an enemy, but a helper. I mean, wow, That completely reframes a so-called negative emotion into something positive, something protective. The final page really summarizes the whole lesson for us. Feeling disgust is a totally normal warning sign. The right way to react isn't to run, but to try and understand what it's telling you, that maybe something needs to be cleaned up. And then the book does this beautiful thing where it scales this personal lesson up, reminding us that our Earth is one big meadow, and we all need to take care of it together. And that leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? If this simple story can teach a kid that a yucky feeling from a pile of trash is a signal to clean their room, what about us? What are the bigger messes in our world that trigger that same feeling of disgust? And what is that feeling telling us it's time to clean up?